Solana has absolutely melted our faces off in 2021. Their SOL token has rocketed over 80x since the start of this year. At this point, it's unrealistic to expect another massive 80x move to happen. But that's a totally different story for its ecosystem projects. Many of them are much smaller and could definitely see 50 to 100x gains in the future. In this video, I want to share with you 5 Solana ecosystem projects I've been researching. Some are larger, while others are smaller, so there's something for everyone depending on your risk tolerance. So if that sounds interesting to you, then strap in my friend and let's roll the intro. I could go on all day about why Solana is a promising project. But alas, this video is not about Solana, it's about its ecosystem projects. And the reason why I want to look closer at these projects is because of a very specific thesis of mine. That is, for these newer layer 1 blockchains, their ecosystem will likely rocket in the early days. I mean, just look at what happened in the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem earlier this year. It seemed like any project that launched on it absolutely took off. And I think we'll see this happen for any relatively new ecosystem, whether it be Polkadot, Terra, Cardano, or whatever. But Solana is the here and now, so that's why I want to focus on this ecosystem and take a look at 5 specific projects. For each of them, we'll dig into 3 key points: what it's all about, the most special thing about it, and how its price has performed so far. My hope is that this can help kickstart your research and we can make some outsized gains together. Oh, and just FYI, I do personally own 1 out of the 5 coins and will probably buy some of the other ones soon as well. You're gonna have to watch the video to find out which one it is though. Sounds good? Let's go, number 5. Which is Raydium, or ticker symbol RAY. This is the largest AMM, or automated market maker, in the Solana ecosystem. Basically, it's like their Uniswap or SushiSwap. So you can swap tokens, provide liquidity, yield farm, things like that. But they do offer something different though. When you trade on Raydium, they check 2 places to get you the best price: their own liquidity pools and the decentralized order book run by Serum, which by the way is another Solana ecosystem project. By closely integrating with Serum, Raydium can offer built-in limit orders, something that few other DEXs can boast. And that's pretty useful because if you've traded on Uniswap before, you'll know that you have to pretty much take the price that the pool gives you. You can't place a limit order like you can on Coinbase. And the vision of Raydium is exactly that. They want to give you the best of both worlds by leaning on both liquidity pools and order books. Now, if we turn to the charts of Ray, we'll see that it hit exchanges in February of 2021 at around $6. It rocketed quickly to around $16 in May before crashing with all of crypto to around $4 and consolidating for a few months from there. Then they broke out of that range and pumped a couple of times until now, when it's chilling at around $12. If this bull market continues to roar, I like this price action because it consolidated for a good while and now it's starting to flex its muscles again. But in the meantime, it's on to number 4, Mango Markets, or ticker symbol MNGO. This is also a trading related project, but their platform specializes on things like margin trading and perpetual futures. In fact, they offer up to 5x leverage, whereas other DeFi protocols only offer around 2x. And their perpetual contracts go up even higher, to 10x initially. Now, if we take a step back, we can see that Mango Network is targeting an incredibly lucrative niche because leverage and derivatives are what makes centralized exchanges a freak ton of money. Like BitMEX and FTX are rolling in the dough because of these products. So Mango's goal of creating these for the decentralized world could help them generate a ton of revenue. One interesting part about this project is that it is controlled by a DAO. Most of their tokens are locked up in a governance fund that their token holders control. Now, Mango is actually a pretty new project. They just hit exchanges in early August and started trading at around 18 cents. It's been climbing steadily and is now at around 36 cents, which corresponds to a market cap of $360 million. Quite high for such a young project, but I still think it has room for a 10x before this bull cycle ends. Now, time for number 3, Saber, or ticker symbol SBR. They are, and I quote, the leading cross-chain stablecoin and wrapped assets exchange on Solana. Basically, they are an AMM and DEX, just like some of the other projects we've mentioned earlier. But Saber is focused on stablecoins and wrapped assets, which are just assets that live natively on other blockchains but are wrapped in order to bring them onto Solana. You can do all your standard AMM things on Saber like swap tokens, provide liquidity, yield farm, and so forth. Pretty straightforward, but definitely a critical piece of the Solana ecosystem. Now, just like Mango, Saber hit exchanges in early August, so that's pretty recent. They started trading at around 4 cents and it's grown to around 24 cents at time of shooting. But it's still early though, their market cap is around $24 million right now, and you can buy them on Serum and Radium. I think I'm gonna grab myself a bag of this soon, so if you buy some too, please don't front run me. As for number 2, here's a fun one for you, Cope, with ticker symbol also Cope. This is pretty different from any other project I've seen before. At the highest level, they are building an investment product that's based on the calls of the top crypto traders in the world. This includes a leaderboard of the top traders, an in-depth report of their trading calls, and some sort of copy trading feature which comes later on. Woven throughout their ecosystem is their Cope token, which is for incentives and access. And if you hold enough, you also qualify for periodic airdrops from other fun projects. Now, before you ape into this project, I want to give you a huge heads up here. This is more of an experimental project from like a one-man operation compared to the other more professional projects we mentioned earlier. So just keep that in mind, and if anything bad happens, don't say I didn't warn you. Now, before we get to my number 1 project, I have a pro tip for you. If you're just getting started in Solana land, go try out the Phantom wallet. It's similar to MetaMask, but tailor-made for the Solana ecosystem. So you can use it as a browser extension, and its user interface is pretty straightforward and sleek. I'm definitely a fan. Okay, it's time for my number 1 project, which is the one I currently hold, and it is Serum, or ticker symbol SRM. This should not be surprising, right? I mean, I've already mentioned it several times in conjunction with other Solana projects. It really serves as the linchpin or cornerstone in the whole ecosystem. Basically, their whole goal is to bring the speed and convenience of centralized exchanges to DeFi. So they have order books just like Coinbase or Binance, and you can place limit orders on their DEX. But unlike other DEXs, they boast sub-second trading and settlement and transaction fees that cost way less than a cent. You heard me right, less than a cent. So most of DeFi in Solana flows through Serum in some way, shape, or form. And that's why I want to own a piece of this critical infrastructure. A second reason to be bullish is that this project has the full support and backing of Sam Bankman-Fried and his formidable FTX empire. And by now we should know not to bet against Sam. Don't be like that guy who was arguing with Sam that Sol was overvalued back when it was only $3. A few months later, it rocketed 40x, and that Twitter guy is looking like an idiot and Sam is looking like a genius. Now, if we shift our focus to the charts, we see that Serum was one of the first projects to launch in the Solana ecosystem way back in 2020. It started trading at around $1.70 and is now at around $8.70. Its circulating market cap is only $400 million though, so that's pretty underpriced in my book. I think it has way more room to run, given that some other smaller, less impactful Solana projects already have a similar or higher market cap compared to Serum. I hold a bag of this coin and my fingers crossed that it will turn out fruitful in the coming months. By the way, we're talking about all these Solana ecosystem projects having a lot of room to run, but I also might be wrong. It might turn out better to just hold the star of the show, Sol. So far, that's been the case. I wish I held Sol instead of SRM and some of the other coins I bought, but we'll see how this all plays out. Now, if you haven't looked closely at Solana yet, I highly recommend you watch my Solana Worth the Hype video right here and my top 5 staking coins video if you're into these top 5 type videos. Let me know in the comments which category you want a top 5 for next. I'm Kevin from CoinSider. Can't wait to see you in the next one, and cheers.